Yeah, so okay, so thank you very, very much on that. Okay, and then our MC is back, and the food should be is on. It's like almost here. Oh my God. JG, the real cash out. No, what's the real one? Because I didn't work. It's dollar sign 19 Jaylene. So it's $1 19 JALEA. What is it? $sign JALEA. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. It's very difficult to remember that without remembering all the stories. No, I'm sorry. I will make this quick. Goes around my dad's sense of humor. Okay, my dad was special. And I praise God, I got it from them. And mommy quit. He quit. But this stood out to me as one of those fun moments. I had a friend in high school who was morbidly obese. And everybody used to talk about it. You know, in high school, especially the boys. The boys were mean. They were mean to her. Okay, so we used to cry, and I would speak up for her because I got a quick mouth. So if somebody say something bad about her, start crying, and I don't care if it was a boy, girl, or what, dog. You making her cry, and I could go with you tit for tat. Okay. So one day she was crying, and she says, "I have no friends. I have no friends. Nobody likes me except you." And I said, "Girl, I don't care about those people. Don't care about those people. They're not even important. 10 years from now, you're not even going to know them." I said, "Look, I am your friend. So I would like you." I said, "If your mom says it's okay and my mom says it's okay, I would like for you to come spend the night. Did you ever just have a sleepover?" She said, "No, nobody's ever asked me." Long story short, I asked mom, and mom said it was okay. And then she asked her mom. So the day before he was coming over, we were all, you know, our family. I said, "Oh yeah, Dad, by the way, you know who I'm talking about, Gerald?" I know. Uh, the day before she was coming over, I said, "Oh, Daddy, I'm having a friend over for a sleepover." And he was like, "Okay." And I said, "Well, she kind of big." And he said, "Okay, that's all right." So next day, my friend rings the doorbell. God, why did Daddy answer the door? And anyway, he let her in, and she came upstairs, and I was showing her the room. She was going to be sleeping in Mel's room that night because Mel had a double bed, and Mel wasn't home. So she gets settled in the room, and then I hear Daddy from downstairs. "Audrey, come in for a minute, come in." Went downstairs, and he said, "Okay, you said she big, but where she gonna sleep?" I said, "She gonna sleep in Mel's room because Mel got the bigger bed, and she'll be fine." He said, "Okay, that's cool." He said, "But don't you let her sit in this chair." And that was back in the 70s. And remember those hanging chairs? Like the It was so, you got the thing in the ceiling and it's that hanging chair. And so he's pointing at that chair going, don't let her sit in that chair. I said, why not? He said, "Good. I love me some kids. And I love my house too. Now, it's okay." I said, all right, Daddy, okay, fine, fine, fine. God said, sure, we have a good time, and then we go to bed. And my friend goes in the room, I go in my room, and then 20 minutes later, boom, pow! Now, mind you, Mommy and Daddy were already in bed, sleep. So everybody jumps up. Oh my God, what happened? Go in the male's room. Child. The bed on the floor. What do you call it? That framework? That's been took. 2 slats broken. And she is still. Right? So I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? Mom and Daddy jump up. What's the matter? What's the matter? And she's just still. You know? So Daddy and all of his humor, all of that. He said, it's okay. It's okay. Come on. Come on. Get up. And it took 4 of us to get her up. He said, it's all gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. And he said, take her down the hall. He said, take her downstairs and let her sit in that hanging chair. I said, I won't. So Daddy fixed the bed. Now anybody that knows my daddy, he is MacGyver. He thinks he can fix anything. And you got to be careful when you tell him something is wrong. Because you got to be prepared for him to know how to fix it. Don't you call nobody and pay the money. I got this. He fixed the bed his MacGyver way. Thank God it worked. And we had a good evening. Went to sleep. We felt so much better. We woke up the next morning and she had so much fun. And Daddy said, I'm glad you didn't ever sit in that chair. I want to try to be mean, but I don't know. And I said, Daddy, thank you. Thank you. I know you just took me, but thank you for your compassion because that really did a lot for her self-esteem. And she started going back to school. We went back to school, and those boys were talking about her all bad. Snap back. Last thing, you fast forwarded our 10-year class reunion. Guess who was in? And who all the dudes that used to laugh at her were trying to talk to. And she would go, oh no, I remember you. I remember you. No, and no. So that's my daddy. He's a well-rounded, kind, interesting man of idiosyncrasies with a great heart. And I'm gonna miss him with everything in my being. Thank you for listening. Mama, here go my mama. Allie Cunningham. You want to get up? Just sit there. It's up to you. That's what I got. As you can see, it's a chore getting up. There isn't much to say. Mail. I just want to seriously thank all of you. I want you to know I think you have daughters because this was not my idea. Robert is gone, and as far as I was concerned, that was the end of it. We had our family gathering, and I was willing to let it end there.
but Melannie in particular wanted to make it more. And I am very happy they did because I am so happy to see all of you. Where is my grandson? Zeke, are you still here?
He just left. He just left. So he
just left. That kid, I had him as a grandson when he was like 9 years old. And I met his children today. It would not have happened at this gathering. A lot of you I have not seen or heard from for many, many years. And I appreciate your coming and making this happen. And for all of you, let's give a round of applause to Melannie. And we have to write her. That man has been in my life since I was 16 years old. I don't know a life without him, but I'm learning that my two daughters, my granddaughter, my great granddaughter, and my grandson-in-law, they are making it easy for me. And all of you, just because Robert is gone, I'm still here. And you can call me at any time. I'd love to talk to you. I love you all. And just remember, those of you, some of you knew Robert more than others. The Robert you knew is the Robert he was. He was not he was a very special man. And I am so glad I had him in my life. Because of him, I even met a president of the United States. I've met senators, mayors, generals. My life has gone places that Indianapolis would not have ever allowed me to go. I've lived abroad, lived in many states, all because Robert went out on a venture and became the person he was. But I want you all to know that all of you here played some part in us being who we are. You are wonderful friends, and I will never forget you. Continue to keep us in your prayers. Okay, give it up for my mama. Our mama, that's a queen right there.
Yes! Yes!
I'd like to just share a word about my dad. I have a different relationship with my dad because he and I bonded on our business. That's what I do. And so for as long as I can remember, my dad has been my banker in all the adventures that I get myself into. And it will go like this. I call Dad up. Dad, can I have a meeting with you? And then he would say, yeah, come on over. And then I would sit in front of him and I would present my idea and my plan. And I'd be like, okay, look, cool. I need a cash flow loan. And this is what we're going to do. So I had to make the proposal. And then homeboy would either go, baby girl, that don't sound to me. Mhm. I don't know that I think I could go with that. So then I would have to go back and figure it out again or just give it up. If he said it didn't sound, it really wouldn't be sound. 'Cause that's what he knew. But if I was on to something, I would be like, Daddy, this is what I want to do. And our last negotiation, I remember, and I say it like this, our last negotiation was to buy land in Ghana.
Mm.
And I sat in front of my dad and I was like, Daddy, listen, we really need to get that 40 acres and a mule. But now it's 40 acres and a truck. And I really think that I could do this. And so I got these 2 parcels of land that I need to get, and I got my own 20,000. But I need you to put 10 in. Daddy said, because I wanted to get the whole corner. I bought a whole corner lot, but I couldn't quite figure out what that little last parcel was gonna be. So I laid it out to him. I told him the plan, and he sat there and he looked at me and he goes, "Damn, you smart." And I said, "Well, the fruit don't fall far from the tree." And he said, "I like this girl. I like this girl. Y'all know my dad, how he sounds. I like this girl. Yes." He said, "Well, okay, I'll put 10 on it, but don't put my name on it.
Mm.
Put your name on it." And so as my dad goes, he's up there in glory. He has supported me to think about the next thing. And that is back to the motherland. Go and get our 40 acres and a mule and a truck. But I know that in my future, that land that we have, someday I will look forward to inviting you all to come and visit. Because I got my own little pieces of ashes of my father. That's where they'll be.
Mm.
That's where they'll be. Because he encouraged us, he encouraged me to live my best dream and my wildest dream. So I have this t-shirt that says, "I am my ancestors' wildest dream. I am my father's wildest dream." And I am so, so grateful. That's my story about my dad. So hard. It really is so hard. We just miss him a lot. He made us laugh all the time. All the time. So again, I'd like to invite, are you ready to do your thing? We're gonna transfer, we just running through the program to the food get here. When the food get here, we're gonna eat. He said it was 6:15. What time is it now? 6:30. Yeah, you know we on CP time now, like for real. I don't even know how to say that one, but I promise you the menu is catfish, brisket, macaroni cheese, grits, gumbo. Anyway, let's transition the microphone as we move to words from family, from friends and family. We have family. Lindbergh is here. Daddy's cousin. Come on up. Norfolk, Virginia. This is Lindbergh. And then who else cousin? But Lorena is here. Lorena has been my friend since 6th grade. Hold on, Lindbergh, let's tell this story real quick. When this is too funny. We were in Hawaii, we were in 6th grade, and Lorena and I decided that we wanted to spend the night with each other. Now this don't happen no more. Back in the day, if you was gonna spend the night with somebody, then your mom and them had to come over to the people's house. Yeah. And then but it didn't happen like that. So Lorena came to my house first, and it was so awesome. The whole family came. They had to check on us. to see that we was good, the whole family. It was so awesome. And then we're talking about 1970. And we still friends today. Do you see that? I just want to thank you for being here. So I want you to have a nice dinner. And then the master people, I mean, I'll just need you all to come and say your stories about Daddy and how you remember Robert.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'll tell a story. So my name is Robert Shropshire. Robert Lee, or Robert Shropshire's son. So some of you know him. I think we came out to visit maybe once during the 70s when I was 4. I was little. Got a piece of glass in my foot. I'm not doing this, but so as you all know, RJ traveled a lot, and now y'all might not know this because y'all lived here, but when he would show up, he wouldn't call or tell me he was coming. He would just show up. Okay, so flash back 7, 8 years ago. I've got a date with the tall redhead, right? First date. I'm excited, okay? So I'm, shaving, putting on cologne and everything. Got my cowboy boots out. I'm trying to look cute. And I get a phone call. And I just say, hey, cuz, I'm about 30 minutes away. And I'm like, dude, he's come all the way across the continent. Like, he's come from here, from Washington. This is Norfolk, Virginia, by the Atlantic Ocean on the other side of the continent. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm kind of busy, I've got a date, you know what I mean? And I'll let you in the house, but come on to the house, I'll let you in. He's like, okay. So then I've got to call this girl that I, don't really know that well and say, hey, listen, I know we were supposed to go to this dancing place, but my cousin has just shown up from Washington unannounced, and I need to at least let him in the house so he can crash here for the evening. And imagine this. Now, you're talking about being proper and everything. I said, would you mind, first date, would you mind coming to my house and waiting with me here until my cousin shows up? Now, imagine that, right? You're on a first date, some guy's like, come to my house and wait for my cousin to show up, right? But she said yes. So she came over and we waited. And RJ came and started telling stories. And it went great. And I had enough sense to keep my mouth shut. So RJ sat and told stories, and Jeannie sat and laughed. And this went on for about 3 or 4 hours until she said, I have to go home. And so RJ said, well, I guess I'll go get my stuff. And he went out to the car and got his stuff, and I put him to bed, and she left. And a few years later, we got married. And so throughout the 7 years that we've been together, every time the RJ came east, he would catch up with us. He would come and play hockey with Ian out in the driveway. And, I've still got a piece of jewelry. RJ, when he was flying in Saudi Arabia, had a necklace made for me that had my name in Arabic, 18 karat gold. I still have it. So he's been a fixture in my life since I was little. And I'm 50, I'll be 53 soon. And I'll miss him. He was a great man and a great role model as to how to be a man and how to be a positive impact, how to live life fully and be vibrant and alive every day that you're living. And I'm glad to have had his shoes to try to grow into. So that's all I want to say.
Hello. That's my husband. Honesty. We have known Mama Cunningham since we were young lieutenants in the Army back in 1976. I'm retired. He's my friend. So she took really good care of us. He was in the legal section, and
He told me to be quiet a lot. You already were standing out enough, trying to keep a low profile. legal officer was an addition. You can use other rules, but I don't know. It was hard to get away from her. My daughter Melannie, I just keep running into her the whole time we've been here. So, what mostly I could say about what I know of all the Cunninghams, and I met Mr. Cunningham several times. You don't know he's an avid golfer, but I would say of these people, the Cunninghams, you can see that they're a force, and you can also know that they're salt of the earth. That's mostly what I have to say is, you gotta love these people.
I like to sing. Anybody that knows me knows I like to sing. So I won't say anything, but I will sing it. And this is for you. It's not easy trying to understand how the world can be so cold, stealing the souls of man. But the skies rain down and all your dreams. You wrestle with the fear and doubt. Time gets hard, but you gotta believe there's a better place where all our ways and every tear you wipe away. The darkness will be gone, but we shall be strong. Hold on to your faith. There will come a day. There will come a day. Wars are raging, lives are shattered, innocence is lost, and hearts are scattered. The old are forgotten, the children are forsaken. In this world we're living in, is there anything safe? There's a better place where our Father waits, and every tear He'll wipe away. Darkness will be gone, we shall be strong. Hold on to your faith. There will come a day. There will come a day. The song will ring out down those golden streets. The voices are heard, and the angels will sing. Every knee will bow, sin will have no trace. And for the ashes of faith, every knee will bow, sin will have no trace. In the glory of the amazing grace, there will come a day. There will come a day. There's coming a day. Coming a day. There will come a day. Thank you so much.
I was caught up in the song. Thank you. That was so lovely. That was so lovely. I'd like to but that is something that I remember because, sometimes you have a family that you grew up with, and sometimes you have a family that God blesses you with on top of that. And the Cunninghams were that for me. I had from 13 years old, and oh, by the way, we bonded over our lack of sewing with a guy who did our project named Mark Patterson. He did our sewing project for us, and that's exactly how we met. But it's really important for young people to know that they're safe and they're loved and they have somebody has their back. And that's what I always knew when I had the opportunity to spend time with the Cunningham. They always had my back. They always made sure we're safe. And they always made sure that while we were acting stupid, we knew better. Every single day. Everybody needs that extra dose of love. Everybody needs sometimes that extra dose of correction. But the love is really what sustains you over time. So, Mr. Cunningham, when he was sick, a lot of people didn't get an opportunity to visit him. He allowed me to come visit him. And that was
probably as many memories as I had with Mr. Bob. That was the single most special one because it told me what he really thought of me. And that was a big deal. So this is a celebration, as tough as it is, but remember him with all of his splendor and knowledge and just, fun, because he was a fun guy. He taught us how to do slop. I think you can't do that with shoes on though. And just really keep him in the heart and keep the family in your heart and prayers, because it's going to be a tough time for a little bit, but we'll get over it. So thank you.
So I'm just gonna take this time on behalf of our family. Joanne, oh, you knew I was gonna get you, boo. Come on up here. Come on.
Tia. Sylvia.
This young lady,
Dorothea. Water for Sylvia.
This is where I was, where you were sitting.
thank you enough.
Oh, wow. I gotta tell
She
you.
took care.
Hold on a minute, please. In Robert's dying hours, she was Robert's caretaker. She brought his son. And the Lord, nothing but the Lord, set that little boy to Robert's bedside. And you should have seen how he reacted to Robert in Robert's dying hours. He put a smile on Robert's face that hadn't been there for a long time.
I just have to say, on behalf of our family, you took care of my grandmother like we would have. And I appreciate you. And I love you so much. You did things that you didn't have to do. You went above and beyond. And for you to be with us in just a short time that you were, I can't express how much we appreciate you. You did the day shift, I did the night shift. It was a tag team. And you, sir, are amazing too. You have an amazing mother. I hope you know that. I love you so much. And I thank you for doing what tell a story about what? Which one? That day. Oh yeah. Is there anybody else that would like to say any words about Papa? I mean, I know in his last days, Papa was so good for Joanne, so good for her. I'm not sure if many of you know that. Papa in the day, but I also worked a full-time job. I remember the Wednesday before Papa passed, he was still talking, still laughing. And I got there at 5 o'clock and I looked at him and I said, Papa, let me ask you something. I said, why is it that you're so good for your caregiver every single day, all day? You're so good for her. And then when I come, you want to keep me up all night. But I'm the only person in this family that actually has to put myself together to go to work. Nana's retired, mommy worked from home, auntie worked from home, but I gotta go somewhere. And he looked at me, and he sat up in his bed a little bit, he was playing with the buttons, and he said, I don't give a shit about you having no job, what's that got to do with me? And I said, oh, okay. So that's what we doing now? And he's like, all right. And the next day, same thing. Joanne leave, I come in, my mom's sitting on the couch. Every day I asked her, Papa, you had a good day? This day he told me no. So I said, well, what's wrong? Mom's sitting on the couch with her glasses. I want food. Remember that? My mom said, Tiffany, I promise I tried to feed him, but he wouldn't eat. And it was just, Papa's taught us a lot. He's given us a lot, shown us a lot. And I'm thankful for everybody that got a chance to know him. Me personally being his only grandchild. Not the great grand, but the only grandchild. I don't share my family with a lot of people. So my friends, all right here, are my family as well. And they got a chance to know him. But Tay doesn't want to get up, but she did tell me to say, on behalf of, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. On behalf of the veterans. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Okay. Let me say this. Just for the golfers, because you all gonna love this, okay? The golfers in the back. Imagine, Daddy is literally on the deathbed. Okay, let's just say this. We're literally on the deathbed. Laying in the bed. The caregiver that day wasn't Joanne that day, it was the caregiver. Daddy said, come here. So she came over to him and she's like, when she called him Papa too. Papa, you all right? Get that bag. Get that bag. Get that bag. And so it's like, okay, and it was a Safeway bag. Okay, but he was insistent that we get the Safeway bag. Put it on the couch. Put it on the couch. So he put the Safeway bag on the couch and he told her, come here. And so then he goes like, I want you to put your hands like this. He put a golf grip together. He goes, I want you to look at that bag and I want you to get it back like that. Don't take your eyes off that bag. And I want you to hit it. I said hit it. I got the video. I'm going to show you all this. I promise you, I got the video. He made her practice that swing. And he made her come and look him in the face and tell him that she was going to go to the driving range and play golf for real. This was 2 days before he died. You talk about womb to tomb for golf. Daddy told us the game of golf you can play until you are old. It'd be nice to play that. Who was the mic? Who was the mic for my day? Carol? You don't like her mama, you don't like us.
Hi, everybody. I grew up not far from Cunningham family. We're about 2 blocks away. And Audrey and I graduated together. Audrey and I were
Listen, that's a like you, but you don't come take this.
I saw Audrey and Tiffany were cheerleading together. And we went to Dupont. And I don't know if it's no longer there. But the way I met Audrey was I put my foot on her back. Yeah,
He want to teach 20 young factors. He want to teach 20 young factors. Okay.
But the thing about the Cunningham thing, so I had a twin brother, unfortunately passed away a long time ago, and Mrs. Cunningham is the only person that got along with both of us. Right? Am I right? You never saw us together. You loved us both. And we would go to the Cunningham house, and there are two
You
things
think you're
that I really know. Is that every time you go to the house, you get some love.
You want to say it?
Now, Mrs. Cunningham, you don't get it. You're gonna sit you down and get some information. Mr. Cunningham, when we were younger, he wasn't as, you know, I knew him differently as he got older. And he was cool. He was kind of always on the side. And then once we got older, he started talking more. He really liked me. He was really proud of me for some things.
You're about 40 years young. I'm talking to you.
And but the thing where I really found out who he was one time, the only time, he took me out to his garage. Anybody ever go out to the garage? Anybody ever see all the stuff in the garage? So he took me out there. He gave me a 3-hour speech on what he was going to do in the garage. Guess what? He never did what he said he was going to do. He went over everything, and everybody would come out and look, and then you guys would go back in because you knew what I was about to deal with. But he was, but the thing about him, when I told my brothers, we used to have a family of 8, now we're 3, and so the Cunninghams have been around the whole time. But I lived in Oregon when my mom was passing, and my brothers were. They were telling me how much Mr. Cunningham came by, and I didn't know that. And he'd come by, and he'd sit down, and we'd talk. And what's that show he liked? Orders, right? Yeah, and I didn't understand what he was saying. And you know how he has that laugh and that twang in his voice, right? And I couldn't understand what he was saying. And then I finally figured out what he was saying. Well, be careful what you laugh at.
That's my baby too, guys.
Yes, I am.
And here's another. Listen, I was not acquainted with Mr. Cunningham as well as you guys. We, through my lifetime, probably run into each other 4 or 5 times. But what I do know of him, and this is what you got to watch in yourself, is that you never know who's watching you. So I grew up in a single household. So there was not a father in the house. But in order for you to see what a man is supposed to do, you got to watch another man. Watch, see how a man carries himself, how he takes care of his family, how he works things. Well, Mr. Cunningham was a man's man.
Yes.
You could watch him, you could see. And I don't know how he dealt with all these girls. All these girls, he was a girl's dad extraordinaire. And all his girls turned into extraordinary ladies. And so I just want to give a shout out to the Cunninghams. I've known them since the 70s. And their house has always been full of love and laughter and food. I did get to go over to the house a couple times. So, like I said, Mr. Cunningham was a man's man. He was a mentor, and he taught me now with 7 granddaughters how to take care of words. So I just want to thank him for that. He didn't even know he was doing what he did.
Oh, wow.
So much. Thank you so much.
All right, so I was thinking, and I remember the last conversation I had before you passed. And I don't remember what day it was, but I do remember my mom home was that nighttime, and he was up. This might have been that winter that you were talking about. Oh, it was Saturday. Okay, he was talking, so he was up and he was talking. And my mom was asleep and she had to go to work. So I came over and I was up watching paternity tour or whatever. Man, it was good too for both into. And I am like laying down, I'm trying to go to sleep, and I hear him talking to somebody, and my mom's asleep. So I'm like, who is he talking to? I'm getting kind of creeped out because he's like having a conversation with somebody. Yeah, he was like talking to somebody. And I'm just trying to listen to see if I can figure out what kind of conversation he was trying to have. And he was going, it's so good to see you. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. What's going on? So I go, Papa, like, you okay? And he goes, mm. So I go back and I sit down and I watch him returning for minding my business. And his voice was really low because, his strength wasn't up to what it usually is. So I hear, Jaylene. And I'm like, okay. So I go over there and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he goes, I'm doing good. What you doing? And I say, I'm watching paternity court. And he goes, you remember when you asked me to tell you if I saw God or if I see my mom? And I said, yeah, like, what's going on? He said, I saw it. And I said, oh my God, sorry. And I said, oh my God, really? Like, you're not telling the truth. Like, you be playing, you're not telling the truth. He's like, no, like real, I'm serious. And I go, okay, so like, what you want to tell me? And he goes, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know where I'm going. I said, okay, like, what you want me to do about it? And he goes, how do I leave you guys? I love you so much. Like, how do I survive? And I said, you go out with love. He said, I love you. And I love you too. And that's the last conversation I ever had. Anyway, that day I learned that he will protect me for the rest of my life. That's right. I did. And I believe it in my whole soul. And being here talking to you guys, like, I don't like talking in front of crowds. And I know all of you guys, and appreciate you so much for being here, but protecting you. If he loves you, he loves you as much as you say. He said that he did, that he's up there protecting you.
Up right now. I tell you what. I wasn't the one that said it. That was Katie. Girl. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? I mean, we all have stories for days about Papa. I remember, y'all could come get Mike anytime to get ready, but I do remember it was one night, and I think this was the night that I did call Jaylene because I was scared. It was just me and him, he and I, 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. And Papa was having a conversation, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's just me and him. And like Jaylene said, his voice was weak. And I'm laying on the couch. I was watching the first 48. But Henry says, very clear, very strong. You are now cleared to put your feet on the floor. I said, okay, well, maybe he just
having a conversation with somebody, about 5 minutes goes by, said it again. You are now clear to put your feet on the floor. So I got up, I went over to his bedside, I said, Papa, it's me. My feet are already on the floor. He said, baby, come stand behind me and get your wings. I said, ooh, So I don't know who you talking to, but it's 3:52 in the morning. You got to tell them they got to come back. So I went and laid back down. Then I heard some rustling. I looked over, and in his last few days, his strength wasn't like it used to be. He was trying to get up. So I went over there. He had pushed all his covers off. He had put the pillows on the floor. And I said, Papa, what did you do? He's like, I'm finna go with you. And I said, well, where are we going? Typical Papa. We finna go play golf. We're not. I said, you get ready to go to bed. And he's like, well, why we can't go play golf? I said, first of all, now it's 4:15 in the morning and the golf course is closed. He's like, oh, well, all right. I guess we're going to go ahead and go to sleep. And he laid down and went to sleep. Like I didn't have to get up and go to work. He didn't care about that job that I had. He made sure every night to let me know that he didn't care about that job. Is it time to eat? Okay, you just play the music. Can we wobble or something? This come on, let's wobble because people sitting here snoring and crying. It's a great shot, right? Wobble. Yes, ma'am. Okay, hold on. Dennis said let her have the mic real quick. Since we're talking again, you guys, I feel compelled to share with you how important it is for all of you to appreciate every day you have. Don't get tired of the bullshit. I'm telling it like it is. If it's something can be overlooked or forgotten or discussed and forgotten, do it. There is no big I and little you. You remember, one day you're going to be where Robert is. And what price did you pay for that? Enjoy each other. Enjoy each other to the extent possible. Say, I love you as often as you can. You can't say that too much. Say, I forgive you. Say, I'm here for you. Love each other. Don't take your lives for granted because before you know it, your life will be gone. Okay? Love each other. That's the best memory you can give, Rob. And especially me. Okay. I got the mic because the food's ready. Hey. We can continue our testimonials as we get the food. But listen. Daddy wasn't buried, he was cremated. And this was pretty interesting too. This was a story. We did all the paperwork, like you had the will and the this and all the paperwork, right, Mom? They had it in order. But for some reason they forgot to fill out the part about instructions. And so there was a decision that had to be made about what to do. So it fell on me. Everybody was like, that's the you asked. You asked. So now Audrey was on the couch. She's like, no, girl, you asked. And so I went this morning, I went and sat by the bedside. And this is us. I said, Okay, look cool. That's how we do it. I'm like, okay, look cool. This is a difficult conversation. So I'm gonna just get it out. What you want us to do with you when you're not here no more?
Right. Good question.
And he said, burn me up. Just like that. You know, they burn me up. And so Daddy was cremated, and we have his ashes at home and all of that stuff. But the thought of taking him into a church, we had to think really long and hard about that. And it was like, we coming to the golf course. So that's why we're here.
Yes.
Keep it real and authentic and unapologetic.
Yes.
Still, we need to bless the food. So we're gonna invite Sister Claudette Nash. I looked around the room and say, who could bless the food? None of y'all passed. I'm just playing. I'm playing. I just said it in the Kia version. This is Claudette Nash, and she's been with our family since the 70s. This is Sister Nash. And so we're going to invite Sister Nash to bless the food for us. Can you please stand?
This has been a wonderful gathering of friends, stories, memories, achievements, and I've just left work. I'm so glad I came. My daughter was overcoming. She wasn't feeling well, so I told her I was coming. There's nothing else to say. I think it's all been said. We're honoring and memorializing a wonderful man. As so many say, he's a mentor. That person we've known for so many years. And I always call him George. I said, his name was not George, but my mom and I started calling him George, and George stuck with that. And he allowed us to call him George, and to come and pick up his granddaughter, great granddaughter. And I saw him one day and said, oh my God. Yes, but you know who I'm talking to when I say George. So we're honoring Robert, also known as George. And at this time, we're going to bless the food. Father, we thank you for this day, for this gathering, for all family and friends. The memories that will continue to be cherished. The pain, the sorrow, the grief that still continues on. But we know you will let it get lighter. And now we just thank you for this day. We want to ask your blessings on food, the hands that prepared it, that it may nourish our peace and give us what we need as we go forward. A bit time coming, but it's here and we're all ready to eat and thank you. Amen. Amen. Amen.